Alrighty, so what we're doing now is filming a video to show installation of our Fold and Tumble rear seat. We already have the seat set in the vehicle as it's going to be with the catch loop back, the release lever on the left hand side. We've set up all the hardware. You have your two bushings which will go in the pivot brackets, the 7/16 grade 8 fine nut or fine bolts. Those are to go in the factory seatbelt locations, flat washers for that. The 4 5/16 National Course 1.25" bolt that go to mount the two pivot brackets down. And then this is the catch loop for the rear portion of the seat, where when it's folded back in place it will catch. And these two holes on this catch loop are designed to mount with your factory seatbelt locations. The E-clips will hold the pivot bracket on. And the washers, the reason you receive so many washers is because sometimes, depending upon where the pivot bracket sits in the rear ridges of the floorboard, you have to put some washers down in the lower portion to space it up in order for it to ride level. So the only stuff you'll need is two ratchets. 3/8 ratchets work the best. 5/16. So a half inch shallow and half-inch deep socket for the 5/16 bolts, and then 1 5/8, you can go deep or shallow socket for the 7/16 bolts. Alrighty, so we'll get to installation now. First, I'm going to install the catch loop, and this is going to go in using your factory seatbelt locations. We've already pulled out the seat belts, so this bracket will sit in there like so. You can see how the seat is going to hit that bracket. So I'll bolt those in place. Put your seat belts back on top if you have lap belts in that area. And then you can put the 7/16 bolt through the flat washer and go ahead and tighten it up.
I'm ready to stop.
Yeah. Alrighty, you can see that the bracket's been installed. The bolts are tightened down. We're going to pull the seat out here to show you where the pivot brackets are going to go. Alright, the pivot brackets are going to mount to the seat right here. And we'll install the bushing. Bushing goes in this direction, like so. There's a key, you can see that it needs to go in. And then this will slide on to this location here on the seat. And the E-clip will get pressed into the groove. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, and I'll show you guys where it goes on the Bronco. Alrighty, so we're going to show the installation here. The bushing is going to get put on. We'll put it in the bracket first with the flat side, the washer portion towards the seat. The seat, sometimes the material will actually come out farther than it's supposed to be, and you can see here that's going to be the groove for our E-clip. This bracket needs to go on with this notch facing forward, and that's for the clearance of the upper portion bar of the seat. So we'll push that on, push it into place, and once it's in place, you can slide your E-clip into that groove. Alrighty, and then we're going to show you guys here in a moment how to install the front portion of the bracket to the floorboard. Alright, after mounting the seat into the rear portion with the loop, we set the seat in place, centered it, and found that our two pivot brackets will bolt down in the two low portions, second portion in from the wheel well. We then went ahead and drilled the holes in the floor, marked them first with either a marker or a paint pen, and then drilled 4 3/8 holes through the floorboard. Next, we're going to put the seat in place, drop the 5/16 bolt through the bracket, and then down through the hole, through the holes that we drilled. And this is where you'll need probably 2 people, 1 person to hold the bolt head from the top, and 1 person to tighten up from the bottom, using the 5/16 nut, lock washer, and a flat washer in the bottom as well to disperse some of the stress on the sheet metal. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll take a video of it installed. Alrighty, so you can see here how the bolt goes through the floor underneath. To bridge this gap, I'm going to slide in 3 5/16 flat washers over our drilled hole. Then I'll thread or drop this bolt, the 5/16 hex head bolt, through and then through the drilled hole in the floorboard, and that will in turn space it up so it's even on both sides. So we have both of our bolts drop through with our spacer washers on both sides now, and I'm going to go underneath and we'll get this tightened up and we'll show it functioning here in a second. Alright, so here you can see our 2 bolts protruding through the floorboard. I'm going to take the 5/16 flat washer, 5/16 lock washer, and nut, and get them started by hand here. And my friend's holding the top so it won't spin on me while I'm threading this on, pushing down on the bolt head on the farthest forward passenger side. Alright, so that one's started. We'll do the next one here. You can see the bolt is protruding through. And it helps to have a creeper. You know, anytime you're working under your vehicle, make sure the emergency brake is on, it's in park, you're on a flat level ground. You never want your vehicle to roll on you. Alrighty, so you can see those are tightened by hand. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them up using my 5/16 or the 1/2 inch socket on my 3/8 ratchet. We'll go ahead and do that now, and we'll show you here in a second. Alright, now that we've tightened our 4 bolts that go through the floorboard, you can see that it can pivot and the brackets are nice and they're tight in place, everything's squared up. They'll drop down. This is when you can check to make sure that that does latch and catch. You want that to be able to do that so it can, you know, in case you were to go forward during an impact or anything, that would hold you and hold the seat down. And the seat latches back in place, and now you have a fully functioning fold and tumble seat. I'm going to latch. That for it. You can fold it upright, you know, store stuff for camping, whatever you want to do. Alrighty, so that's our 1027 Deluxe Fold and Tumble Seat installation.